Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and welcome to Global Governance News TV. Today we'll discuss the governance, management and Modi government. Today is the first cabinet reshuffle in the Modi government, and how Modi just changed the face of his cabinet with the proper management of social engineering, and just to give the boost to the proper governance. When 2018, when Modi was elected, he has just given the message for the minimum government, maximum governance. But how government was maximum or minimum, and governance is minimum, maximum, this is a matter of analysis. How this is proper or not. And today, this new experiment, I think this is the first cabinet after independent India, the more learned people from the different sects, doctors, advocates, technocrats, bureaucrats, and all just I think we can see this is a very good new experiment and new management of governance done by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. What I think, and we also just analyze how this governance will go to the people. Whatever the Vice President of India, Hussein Shekhawat, and Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Antyodaya, the governance should be reached to the last person of society. That is called in Hindi Antyodaya Karyakrama. The program, as really the governance has reached to the last person of the society, or this is the only I was just to change, reshuffle, and manage the faces in the governance. Today, just although BJP government has a full number, there is a no doubt, but they have already managed to take the others party also, and LJP, not Shiv Sena, and JDU from the Bihar. So there are four ministers from the JDU quota, where the Nitish Kumar is ruling in Bihar, and total 43, and 10 promoted, and 33 has been new faces, 27 from the OBC, and 8 from SC, ST, and about 20. More than 40 is from the OBC, SC, ST. So somebody is saying this Modi Sarkar is now OBC Sarkar. This is also a type of the criticism also, but as we just will analyze how the governance should be, how the management should be with respect to the today reshuffle of the Modi government in India. So we have the esteemed panelist, Dr. Shivaji Sarkar, a senior journalist, and worked for the so many National Daily professor, and now he is a professor, Shivaji Sarkar, and Kishore Dwivedi has seen the governance very and closely watched all the parliament development and governance development, and all the bureau chief of the so many Delhis in Delhi, especially on hold on the Oriya politics. And from the America, Vandana ji, just have taken the 2% from the foreign affairs, just to just analyze the masses, how they feel it after the changing on the impact of the India, and Alok Lahad ji from the Spain. So you can analyze, and we can just start from the Shivaji Sarkar ji. How do you analyze this reshuffle and the governance and management of Prime Minister Modi ji with respect to the people? And welcome Anita Choudhary ji, senior journalist in the program. Please.
Thank you, Rakesh. No, I see this as one way it is a very bold move. Removing a number of ministers and inducting quite a new faces. It is, I think, an experiment that only the next few months we know how the new ministers would be effective, and whether they would be better than some of the experienced ministers in the cabinet so far. who are equipped to make a space for them. This is one aspect I believe that every Indian would like to see and like to feel that the new ministers are more effective perhaps than the previous ones. So I think Prime Minister has played quite a gamble in this aspect. But at the same time, there has to be another aspect. When you say governance, management is fine. All governments do good management. But when it comes to governance, Modi government has, I think, to look into the economics very critically. Can't only say that we have done this and done that. One thing, if in this new setup, the Modi government can do away, that would be a great relief for the people, and it will be considered a very different aspect for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So far, what exactly the BJP has been doing, this BJP NDA government, they are a different party, but they have been implementing Manmohanomics with greater zeal than Manmohan Singh himself. And that part of the reforms, which of course is not reform, has caused a lot of problem for the government itself. Forget about the country.
Shivaji's face is not in frame, please. Put in face in frame. Thank you. That's good.
Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, please.
The government has to rethink on economics, and Manmohanomics is definitely panacea for India. See, initial days of 91 was different. We needed some kind of a new liberalization and all that. But with the passing of the days, Manmohanomics has virtually become a cliche only and is no more a reform at all. And unfortunately, BJP, which was very critical of that Manmohanomics, has adopted that Manmohanomics with greater zeal than the original propagators, the UPA. So that is what everyone wants to see. You see, it is the Manmohan Singh government which has started increasing and coming to the very basic petrol prices. Even when the petrol prices were, of course, at that point of time, petrol prices were very high, but putting the taxes on it, on petroleum products, was the idea of the Manmohan Singh government. And now, unfortunately enough, the way the petrol prices are touching beyond the capacity of the people to pay is hitting the entire aspect of economy. And one thing the government forgets, that the government is the owner of the largest number of vehicles and is a gas guzzler in real sense. So what it thinks is earning through taxes, it is virtually losing by paying the same taxes to itself. So this is one aspect. Then if you look at the taxes, very good, it has done one good thing. It has reduced the corporate taxes. But the individual taxes have been increased to 42% plus.
Shivaji, I think you may be right on that point. How the taxes is going up and the petroleum prices is also not the stopping on a way, and whatever they should stop and control. But that is also a part of management and governance. This is a matter of agree or agree not. But fact
yes, Rakesh, I agree with Rakesh. I agree with you. That is part of the management, but that is not the part of the good management. Unfortunately, because when you raise this kind of taxes on every affordable items, you are increasing inflation, and again that recalls back on the government.
So
forget about the people. People are of course oppressed.
That's why this is.
So we have to have a new kind of an economy. Where the prices are low, consumptions are more, and government earns taxes through those consumption.
Okay.
This is what the new economics they have to do. Otherwise, ठीक है, चल रहा है, चलता रहेगा.
Okay, ठीक है, that's okay. And I'll take Kishore ji, and then I'll take Ajay Sharma ji on the economic points. how they will take. So, Kishore Goyji, how do you analyze the whole reshuffle and cabinet expansion? This is the first expansion of Modi's governments too, after coming 2019. Please unmute yourself. Kishore ji, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. If you go back, the first, I think is 2014, the first government of Modi ji, and even 2019, it was told the underlying formula, underlying principle is that minimum government, maximum governance. So, in case you see today's thing, I think it has become maximum government for maximum governance. The underlining thing, undercurrent thing, a lot of political things has been managed. Maybe the whatever Sir was saying earlier, economic factor is there, but it's a purely and fully political managed reshuffle, keeping in view in the election of immediate elections and in the future elections. If I tell you, as today, Modi ji has given some signal to his new ministers when he invited them for the tea. One of the incumbent ministers told me that he said, "You be prepared to remain for 3 years." He has given clear signal. This is a government for next 3 years. Number one. Number two, he said,
so, no any next reshuffle is going on. No, will be held.
Yeah, that's what he said. Then he said, carry on senior leaders, senior political leaders and bureaucrats along with you. And I wish you all the best. That's what he said to the new, before they are going to be, when he invited for them for the tea. The other point, if I point out the ministers who have been shunted out, like you tell Harshvardhan. Harshvardhan is a nice person, goody man, gentleman, and all these things. But he has been also managing Corona like anything. But then he has been sacrificed. Maybe I don't know, because of Corona. Number one. Number two, it's a quite surprise about Ravi Shankar Prasad. I do not know. Maybe in the process, people are saying Twitter has own. Second thing, and the third is I think Nishank, they are saying is yelling, he's fit and fine, but he has been dropped. But underlining is what I say. Whatever has been projected, the efficacy, efficiency, all these things, maybe political tone is more than efficiency factor is there in the reshuffle.
Okay, so actually 12 minister has been dropped today. Okay, and just you are talking about the two ministers. So I'll take input from Anita Choudhary ji, who is keeping eye on all the reshuffle and covering the cabinet, and after then go the Vandana ji and Alok ji. So what is the Twitter angle or not, we did also see that. So Anita ji, 12 minister has been dropped. So I'm reading the name, and I'll take the why they have been dropped according to your analysis and your inputs. D.V. Sadaran Gowda, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Thawarchand Gehlot already accommodated as a governor. I think some network problem, no problem. And Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and Harshvardhan, Prakash Javadekar, Santosh Gangwar, Bawal Supriyo, Sanjay Dhotre, Ratanlal Kataria, Pratap Sarangi, and Devasri Chaudhary. Anita ji, do you hear me? You are on the line.
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you able to see me? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Just your you are not okay. Not good.
Thank you.
Please. So why? What's the reason? Just all the 12 ministers, first time, all the senior ministers, why they have been dropped? For the proper governance, for the proper management. Please.
It's a kind of management, and everyone should get chance. But I feel that it's a complete, energetic, and experienced cabinet I have ever seen in my journalistic career. Because if you will see the average age of this cabinet is 58 years. And if you see that there are many new faces they have included, but they, whoever they have dropped, they are also very experienced, talented, and they have their own political cadre. So we cannot ignore those politicians. Either it's Prakash Javadekar or Ravi Shankar Prasad or Nishank or any other name, whoever is. They have all their own cadre, their own experience, their own expertise, but maybe it's a if we will go through the strategy of a Modi government, they always whoever they drop, they always use that expertise in some other area. So may have they have some other kind of plan for 2020 and 2024. They have some long strategy. We cannot judge immediately that, oh, because of this they have dropped Harshvardhan, oh, because of this they have dropped Ravi Shankar. We cannot judge this. We should wait and watch, and then we should get judgmental. Immediate and impulsive judgment always proves wrong. So we should wait first of all. But what I will see, I can see that you can see the whole India in this cabinet. 25 states are the representative in this cabinet, and every sect of this country are representative of this cabinet. Either it's Savern or it's OBC or SC, ST. The 27 OBC minister you can see in this cabinet. I think 14 SC minister you can see in this cabinet. 8 ST minister you can see in this cabinet.
I
11
have more
women
than
minister you
40
can
SC,
see in
ST,
this
and
cabinet.
OBC. More than 40 SC, ST, and OBC. So, but
11 women, first time 11 cabinet minister in a Indian cabinet. So these are the strength of this. Modi has given everyone chance, and I think because during this lockdown pandemic, Modi has understand that minimum government and minimum maximum governance is is a is a hypothetical thesis you can imagine, but when it's come to the ground, you need a hand, you need a manpower, you need a different views, you need thoughts, and you need a person to work out on the ground. And so that's why I think that he has expanded and he has given full time, that I have given you 3 years, you come and perform yourself and the world is yours. This is also a planning for the second line. BJP now the either is Ravi Shankar or Prakash Javadekar or Nishank or whoever is, either Modi ji, Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, whoever are, they are the first layer of the BJP leadership. But now the planning is for the second layer of the leadership, and you can see the second layer of leadership in this cabinet. So I am very happy. I am happy because they have given chance to the maximum women has got chance in this
okay,
cabinet.
okay,
Maximum
okay.
youth. This is a young cabinet full of experience, energy, uh, and thoughts. So I can say best of all to all of them.
Thank
Go,
you.
the field is yours.
Okay,
Perform
okay.
and prove
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
and then you can get another
So,
chance.
so nice, Anita ji. I'll take the inputs from. I welcome Mr. Ajay Sharma, Assistant Secretary General, the SOCHM, and I'll just and also the convener of BJP intellectual cell. So I'll take the intellect of the BJP governance today from him, and how just Modi ji has given the experiment for that. So Vandana ji. But sitting in America and Chicago, how do you just analyze the phrase work by about the Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
He must have been thinking something when we talk about, because the second term of his, almost a year and a half has gone only into the pandemic. Like a lot of things were done like remotely, people are talking about virtually doing and stuff. And we as an observer from here, because indulging what the diaspora used to feel, like the ministers, those who are not even educated, those who are not literate, and they are ruling. So that kind of thing, when we talk about the clout of India, and literacy means, like, Why can't we have people like, when you want to become like you want to get to serve into government, you need to have some minimum qualification. So mantri ke liye koi qualification nahi, because so those kind of, I'm just talking here, I am talking about the observations from the diaspora perspective. We will like to see the elite, like those who come out, because world is a very small village now globally. We see that if there are a minister who is coming from, like, say, health and human services, like, I don't know, India has different ministries, HRD and health, so he should be able to talk on that subject into the world frame. It is not that they need to have, okay, the diplomats do their work, bureaucrats do their work, but the minister also has to be, because if he understands the subject. So in this the indulgement, because I was just watching the news, I saw there is some professors being indulged, there is some doctors being indulged, the lawyers
Yeah.
being indulged. So that is what, which is
13 advocates, Vandana ji, 13
Yeah.
advocates.
Yeah, so that is in
8
the
doctors.
Mhm. So at least
Yeah.
now they will know, because the Supreme Court, they should do their work, and the administration has to do their work, because lately we are seeing is Supreme Court is doing the work of the administration, which they were not supposed to do, because
Supposed to do,
judiciary
yeah.
has a different role to play. So a more literate and educated ministry, I think that will be his asset. And Anita ji just said that let them work, prove, and we are wait and watch.
So
अगर
nice.
जो लोग
Alok ji,
पहले थे वो नहीं बचे, तो जो आए हैं अगर काम नहीं करेंगे तो वो भी नहीं बचेंगे. That's what.
कोई नहीं बचेगा. Yeah. रास्ता प्रथम. Yeah. Alok ji. Unmute yourself, please.
My first reaction to this was like what we have been talking about, minimum government and maximum governance. So my first reaction was like, we're going to have a cabinet, which will be full of ministers. It will be something 40 some odd ministries would be there.
43 new induction. Yeah,
43 ministries would be there.
33 new induction, 10 promoted. So total number is 43. Yeah.
So now in 43 ministries, I mean, there would be some who will be having independent charge. Others would be, state ministers, or I don't know if there will be somebody without a portfolio. So now so I was just thinking, like, what could be the purpose of this, and why, let's say, heavyweights like Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, he has been relieved of his, I don't think it was non-performance. I'd been thinking about this, or Harshvardhan ji. Like Harshvardhan ji, if you take him away, you're sending a wrong message, because I think both the waves which India has faced, they were very nicely controlled. I mean, second wave should not have happened. We have done a program on that. We know, like, there were mistakes made. But I think second wave was also very nicely controlled. So we take away Harshvardhan ji, who himself is a doctor and he knew the subject pretty well. We're not sending a very right message, but anyway, the Prime Minister would be knowing better. And I think Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, he would be shifted to Bihar, because with the aging of the Chief Minister, I think he should be the person who should be taking. So I was just thinking aloud. But then there are certain things like, for example...
So for your input, breaking news, Mansukh Madavia from the Gujarat has given the charge of health ministry. So doctor doctor is gone, and some others, non-doctors is now hold the charge of health ministry with the chemical fertilizer also. Please.
Okay. Perfect. And then, there are certain ministries which I don't know, there were departments in the ministry itself. For example, Jan Shakti Mantralaya or Sehkarita Mantralaya, Cooperative Bank.
This is the Ministry of Cooperation now. He given charge to the Amit Shah. This is the breaking news.
Yeah. Now, the whole idea is that the cooperative bank movement, it is going, very weak in India. I mean, luckily there was this verdict which came out that no politicians would be there who will be heading those banks. So on that side, it is okay. But then this cooperative movement is being, on one side we have the dairy. Let's say we talk about Amul, which is doing very fine, but the cooperative banks are not doing so fine. So there are certain aspects where they are overlapping. You don't know in case this ministry would be taking care of that, or the Ministry of Agriculture would be doing. Or there were departments like, for example, skill development. We don't know what happened of it. You'll have to really
that is all the same. Mahendranath Pandey is already there. So just
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
your input.
But there
I
are
think
no,
your
there's certain
concern is the
reasons which I
health
can't
minister should
find
not
out
be. No, Alokji,
why
your
it
input
is
is
being done. So
Alokji.
there are certain reasons, and then what Anita ji said is correct. Like, the representation is there. So I think this is a match and mix of certain elements which are there are governance elements into it, and then there are political elements also into it. And the representation, what I like about the whole setup is, I've told you what I don't like. I'm going to tell you what I like about the whole setup is, like, lots of representation of the so-called Dalit categories are there. I'm not too very fond of this caste system, but unfortunately India, we don't cast a vote, we vote our caste, so it is there. Representation of women is very important. From my side, it could be 50%, but it is not so much. It is less, but again, it is a very welcome step. And the third thing is the minorities also quite a sizable number is there. So I think it is a match and mix of let's say there'll be certain things. And what I like most about it is, like you've already mentioned, I was checking the educational qualifications. I mean, they're fantastic. They're people who have done their PhDs, their MBAs, a lot of them. They are certain they've just graduates BCom or things like that. But and lots of youth induction is there, which is very much required. Because India is a young country. If you see majority of our population, which is there, and that is what makes it
65% population youth
exactly.
in India. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think in the first reaction which I had was, and thinking on minimum governments to minimum government to maximum governance. I think the ministry 43 is a huge cabinet. But then I checked up the ministries which are there in, let's say, Spain, France, Germany, and all that, and approximately the number was coming to around 23, 25, 28, something like this. And they're small countries. So if we see the size of our country, so 43 is, I think, is, from my point of view, it's slightly big, because then you have to feed these ministries, and then you'll have to increase the cost of petrol, like the first gentleman who intervened said. And then like, it's the same thing. We are increasing the expenses, and then we have to justify at some point why taxpayers money is being utilized, and for what. So I
Okay.
think it's a balanced thing which they are doing. Rest time will tell us if it is good or not. We have to wait and watch.
Okay. So I think your input is there is not good news for you. Dr. Harshvardhan removed as a health minister. That's okay concern. So now I'll just take from Ajay Sharma ji. Ajay
I just
Sharma
want
ji.
to
I
put
think
point.
I
I
just
just want to
plus
put
we
two
have
points.
I'll take Ajay ji.
just we have seen the past that
If you have the portfolio of railway and
Dharmendra
IT,
Pradhan is no more
I have
petroleum
one
minister.
question. If you have
Yeah.
a
Dharmendra
cabinet of
Pradhan is now
large
education minister.
cabinet, why
Yeah.
again you
Yeah.
are giving two portfolio to one minister? Dharmendra Pradhan has given HRD and skill development. Why again
Yeah.
two cabinet to one minister?
We'll discuss, Anita
This
ji.
is the thing which is
Anita ji, Anita ji, on this part we'll discuss tomorrow. This is not a small subject. Why person given the which ministry and what for? So I'll take Ajay Sharma ji. Ajay Sharma ji also the big organization SOCHM. He is connected with that as the Assistant Secretary General as well as the convener of intellectuals of BJP. Ajay Sharma ji, just what is your take for all the reshuffle? How you are happy and so many ministers, 12 ministers dropped. This is a very courageous step, you can say, of the Prime Minister. So how do you analyze now?
Namaskar, Rakesh ji. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Very good evening to all of you, and thank you for inviting me for this important discussion. I'm actually very excited, and
Great.
why I'm excited is because this is the Modi 2.0 government, and perhaps this would be truly the cabinet which will have the Prime Minister stamp on it.
Okay.
And the reason why I say is because the last cabinet which was formed, it had influences from all other senior leaders as well. Some of them are there, some of them are even not around, they passed away. So this is a government, this is the cabinet which the Prime Minister Modi has personally picked. and he has a lot of expectations, and these expectations are basically based on the aspirations of the people, because this is a prime minister who's very much glued to the ground realities, and he regularly takes feedback from the ground. So therefore, he is very clear about the performances of the ministers. He's very clear about the expectations of the ministers, and he's also very clear about his own expectations. And I must tell you here that this is something which has been very clearly missed out in this narrative so far, is that India is one of the youngest nations, as the reports are already saying, because of the population, and therefore there's a demographic dividend. And the Honorable Prime Minister feels that the younger generation needs to be addressed, and therefore we need to have new energy in the cabinet. And that is why we see very new faces. We are seeing a lot of professionals. We are seeing a lot of educated people. But mind you, let us not assume that these people are inexperienced. I've had personal interaction with some of these leaders, and these leaders have been working in the ground tirelessly, relentlessly, especially during the lockdown period. Some of these leaders I have already tweeted today also, and maybe they are in Delhi, they are outside Delhi, but these leaders have been relentlessly working in the ground, in the field. And if during the lockdown, during the pandemic lockdown, we have noticed that it is only the BJP leaders and the BJP workers who have actually gone out in the field and helped the people in the community by providing them medicines and food and shelter and hospitals and all that. So therefore, Prime Minister is completely aware about the activities, the contributions, the performance of these people. And thereafter, this is just a reflection of what they have done. And I can tell you that some of the leaders, including we have a very veteran but yet a young face in Jyotiraditya Scindia ji, who has been an experienced, I will call him in terms of administration, he's a veteran. He's been a cabinet minister in the earlier governments as well, and he's also a very politically astute leader. So, and yet he's a face who appeals to the young, who appeals to the youngsters. So, therefore, Mr. Scindia is one of them. Then we can see some technocrats like Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Somehow we have felt that in the last few years, India has lost the sheen in terms of the IT and the soft skill and the software power India was compared to China, because China has always been strong in the hardware and the manufacturing sector.
With your all inputs, my question with you to you, that why 12 ministers, all the senior dropped?
My personal feeling is, looking at the honorable minister and his kind of feedback mechanism he has, there seems to be some kind of complacency, maybe especially during the lockdown in some of these ministries. And therefore, I would not like to go beyond that, but this is my sense, and therefore he wants to bring new ideas, new energy, new talent. The BJP is full of talents. They have 300 plus members of parliament today. So therefore, we feel that Prime Minister is justified. This is a landmark expansion which is going to happen. And of course, we are looking at the state elections. And of course, we are also looking at 2024. So therefore, we are very, very excited. And we look forward to working very closely with this new cabinet.
Okay, so nice. So I'll take the Ajay Ramola ji from Uttarakhand. Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank dropped with the charges and whatever there. How do you analyze now? And Ajay Bhatt is in, the former.
I think so. It is. Yes, I think so. It is a very good move, because by bringing Ajay Bhatt, what he has done is he has balanced the equation of the Kamau and the caste equation, the cadre equation, all have been balanced by bringing Ajay Bhatt. And plus, Ajay Bhatt is a cadre leader. He was a state BJP president also. He knows people, he knows the area, geographical terrain, and he has been working with the party workers very closely. So he would be very handy in the next forthcoming elections for BJP. Plus, he's an experienced campaigner. He knows things in and out of the state. So his being in center, it will make it easy for the young chief minister who's here in Uttarakhand, who has been just recently appointed. So it is a very good mix of experience and youth vis-a-vis Uttarakhand. So I think so. It is a very good move. It is very good move to drop Nishank. I mean, there were a lot of campaigns going around against him with his fake ID of PhD, fake degree of PhD, from some Sri Lankan International Open University. So the lack of promoting the new education policy.
But Ajay, but I think there is no any charges. But you are saying the fake degree from the whichever university. But I think there is no charges from the anyway from the PMO also. They have already raised due to the health reasons. He has been dropped.
Yes, health. I don't know. I mean, what were the health reasons? He recovered very fast after the post-COVID this thing. But I think so. There was a campaign. There was an international campaign going on. Again, Nishank also.
I had seen him in some function yesterday. He was smiling like anything. I don't think there is any
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Establish.
Just trying to save his skin and all with all due inputs. So Shivaji. So
maybe he's needed in Uttarakhand now. We never know. Sir.
I don't think so. There are so many charges against him when he was Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. So many allegations also. In total, Shivaji, you have also just covered the last, I think, about 40 years, more than 40 years you are in the media and journalism. So how do you analyze just how the Ajay Sharma was saying and just Alok Lahad also was sitting in Spain, analyzed very well. And inputs of Vandana ji also and Anita ji say and Kishore ji. So a complete overall, just we have just news is coming now. Mansukh Madhvaya, the Swasthya Health Ministry and the Rail Ministry, the bureaucrats, Ashwani Vaishnav and Hardeep Puri is going to be Petroleum Minister. Dharmendra Pradhan shifting from Petroleum going to the HRD Ministry. How just you find the analysis, competency or the loyalty? Competency of the concerned people or the loyalty? How do you understand that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think absolutely competency is a factor here, particularly the allotment of railway, telecommunication, IT to Ashwini Vaishnav. He has been a bureaucrat. He was an IS officer. He was the collector of my own district in Odisha. Then he was deputy secretary in center and he was private secretary at
Kishore, as a bureaucrat, my question is different. I'll take also Shivaji Sarkar.
Yeah.
So then I'll come to you. Shivaji Sarkar. So how you just analyze the competency and loyalty to the Prime Minister?
What all the panelists have been saying, there are some truths in that, definitely. But one thing I believe, this is a Prime Minister's cabinet.
Yeah.
He has himself picked up whosoever he felt is necessary for whatever reasons. And that the choice is totally his. And now, you see, one thing that is there, I think he has taken a great challenge also. Because just putting in new faces and doing away with the experienced hands. The challenge that he faces is, if these people really deliver, it will definitely give a very special kind of shine to the entire ministry and the efforts of Narendra Modi. That is one aspect, definitely. But the second aspect also is, if you look at the composition of the entire cabinet, I think it is quite, it gives more a political message of what kind of stress is there in the selection that is, apart from their qualifications and other things, their basic caste basis. And this is something especially new in the setup of NDA. But of course, you can also see that the message is to the 5 states that are going to the elections shortly in a span of a few months. That is going to happen. Second thing is, UP election and Uttarakhand elections are very important for any political party. And the stress again is there, how they can do the best by sending messages. Forget about what kind of governance will be there or not, but what kind of a stress that is being shown. I think that is where the government is trying to encash on. So that message will be very succinct, but I think also very loud at the same time. But again, if these are, you see, these are part of the entire game. The actual game will be if Prime Minister totally renovates the policy framework along with this, then it will do some wonders for not only the party, but for the nation. Because one thing that has been often been said about some of the previous ministers, or many rather, that they were not being, they may have been performing, that they're not being seen as performing. That is where the lacuna is. And I can tell you about Babul
based on the performance. If you're saying the Babul Supriyo already lost in his constituency from where he was MP.
No, that was not the reason. You see, Lockett and Babul Supriyo, both from Bengal.
Shobhan Das Gupta also.
No, forget about their political failures in the state. They failed there. But there was another aspect about Babul Supriyo. On 23rd January, when the Victoria Memorial function ended, Babul Supriyo was standing because there was no car. All cars were moved away for security reasons. And suddenly, from somewhere, Mamata Banerjee comes and said, Babul, what are you doing here? Come, I will drop you. And for next few days, Babul have been given only explanation why he took that ride. So some of the things sometimes you do very innocently.
Yeah.
But it costs you very heavily.
That's he tweeted just like immature politician. Yeah, yes. he have been said just he should resign. How just Kishore Dwivedi? How just you analyze just the competency and the loyalty? Whatever, how the Shivaji Sarkar said, some political leaders, that's okay.
I think one angle so far you have not covered. You are saying the efficiency.
I'm coming to Anita.
No. The other angle is that promotion. Whoever have been performing well, they have been promoted. Like you can find out how many ministers have been promoted.
Anurag Singh Thakur, and.
Your Rajkumar Singh, I think energy, they have done excellent. I think energy is there, so he has been promoted. Then I think lots of state ministers have been promoted, and only efficiency.
Kiran Rijiju, Rajkumar Singh, Hardeep Singh Puri, Mansukh Madhaviya, and Purushottam Rupala, G. Kishan Reddy, and Anurag Singh Thakur. These are all the MOS. So all have been promoted,
and
with inducting the new one.
And in the sideline, Piyush Goyal has been shunted to a lower significant ministry from railway. So something like that has been done. Maybe this is what the Prime Minister wanted to have the balance, and you can tell in toto. This is a deliverable ministry which has been done, keeping immediately 5 states elections in view, and in the long run general election in view. Maybe S factor, maybe caste factor, maybe efficiency factor, and everything has been done for next 3 years. And it's definitely a gamble. It's a gamble, and it is in case they perform, the credit will definitely go to the Prime Minister. If they don't perform, the discredit, the blame will be taken by Prime Minister.
So I'll check also one question. This is already blame to the. I think Shivaji Sarkar will be happy, and Ajay Sharma will also just know it. This government only there is no minister, only one minister and one Prime Minister. That is called the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. How he control the ministry, and some of the states chief ministers also just trying to follow his line, but they are not capable on that. Anita ji, how just you find this formula, the formula of governance and management, one man army? Themselves Congress blame 1.5% only rule the government. How do you take
I don't
it?
think so. I don't think it's just a perception. We should not go with the perception. We should go with, okay, what kind of a performance has given by the government. And during this pandemic, we have seen that it was an excellent performance. Either it was the experience or it was
But
energy.
if there is an excellent performance, then I'll take the Ajay Sharma ji. Why just
No.
Dr.
I just want
Harshvardhan
to
dropped?
answer your. You have asked everyone that it's on the basis of the competency or the chatukarita. So I just
Loyalty,
huh,
yeah.
no,
Not
another way is
chatukarita, yeah.
chatukarita. The
No, no,
bar
no,
every
no.
baat pe baat
Loyalty
pe
was a sober word. Yeah.
Okay,
Don't
done.
interpret Hindi, no, please. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
I just want to say that I just want to discuss two ministry. Dharmendra
yeah.
Pradhan was the godfather, was the mathadis of that petroleum ministry. But he has shifted to education and skill development. Now he has to perform, because we know that in HRD he has to the kind of changes, the syllabus is going to be changed, and history is going to be totally changed. Now he has to work out and put out all the ideas, take out all the ideas and put out on a ground. First thing, skill development ministry initially also given to the Dharmendra Pradhan, but he has not performed. Again, it has given to the Dharmendra Pradhan. If he will not perform, I think it is a bad masses will go to everyone. First thing. Second thing, Ashwini Vaishnav. If you will see, he has given the railway and
Railway
IT.
ministry.
Railway and IT both. He was a
And
topper of IT Kanpur.
telecommunication,
During his
IT,
studies
IT.
only, he has completed his that IS examination, UPSC, and ranked 26th. He was the secretary during the Bajpayee government, and on that time when
Yeah. Something that I think network dropped something.
Ashwini
Wait, wait.
Vaishnav has been given telecommunication also. In case
Yeah.
I can take a cue from her, Ashwini Vaishnav has been inducted.
just listen, go through my
I
voice.
think I think
During
your
Bajpayee
your
government,
your
when
picks
the
dropped.
government has lost its majority, then he was the personal secretary of the
Anita ji, your voice is not clear. You are not visible also, not audible or not visible. Please, now good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, some network problem. I'll take this answer from the Ajay Sharma ji. I'll take the answer.
Can you repeat the question, Rakesh ji? There's so much of discussion happening.
Actually, that's a matter of the loyalty.
No, I just wanted a few seconds about Ashwini Vaishnav.
Please.
By inducting Ashwini Vaishnav, Prime Minister, the balancing act, what you are saying, not only in BJP, in the friendly parties, all the parties sitting in the fence, like Biju Janata Dal is sitting in the fence. You know the interesting part, he elected to the Rajya Sabha with the vote of BJP and BJD.
Yes.
The rest vote of BJD has been given because he's a BJP candidate. With the rest vote of BJD votes, he has been elected to the Rajya Sabha, and now Prime Minister has inducted him and given a very plump portfolio in order to satisfy the BJP chief Naveen Patnaik, because he has the excellent. He's the go-between between BJP and BJD. So
But he's a MP Rajya Sabha from the BJP.
From BJP with the support of from BJD.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a very interesting election.
BJD, he want to say that BJD was able to win all the 3 seats, but Naveen Patnaik has sacrificed 1 seat for the for this
internal perspective we'll discuss
this is
tomorrow.
The quality of
Ajay Sharma ji, that's a competency and a loyalty.
My only submission is that it is very difficult to read the Honorable Prime Minister's mind. So we are all, guessing in dark. I've just seen that Sindhya Sahab and Raj Thakur's portfolio has also been distributed. I think Mr. Thakur has got sports and youth affairs. And
INV also. And Raj Thakur, information broadcasting and youth affairs also. Both.
Okay. And Sindhya Sahab, besides civil aviation, I also see chemical, and then Piyush Goyal Sahab has got textile.
Textile and commerce and industry. Yeah.
Ji. And
Bhupender Jadhav, Labor Ministry, and as well as the one ministry was there. Bhupender Jadhav. The environment, labor and environment. So I think this is a new type of governance and management, and we'll see how it will work.
So Rakesh, my submission is that here is a leader, here is a prime minister who is known for surgical strikes. So he loves to surprise people, and therefore whatever we are seeing is absolutely surprise. In fact, if you ask me, I was expecting Mr. Bhupendra Yadav to take on the legal law ministry, but that is not the case. So therefore, looking at the background, of course, Mr. Ashwani Bhave has a lot of, he's also been a technocrat and he's been exposed to education abroad. So he's come into IT and telecom, is understandable. But Meenakshi ji, I just got to know that she's got external affairs and also culture, Minister of State. So, so these are some of these.
Kiran Rijiju is the Minister of Cabinet Culture.
So therefore, we are still looking at some very important ministries where the names have still not come out. And there has been a debate about the finance ministry also, because everybody talks about
my question is just I think you are now, after joining BJP, you are going to be more diplomat. I am just trying to take answer from you where you're not giving the proper answer. So I'll take the two our foreign journalists, Spain and from the USA. Vandana ji, how just you analyze the person? What do you prefer, competency or loyalty? Loyalty is everywhere, competence is everywhere. This is the global phenomenon, not in India. So how do you analyze? Competent person should be honored or the loyal person should be honored? That's the question to general to all. Please.
There has to be a balance, to be very honest. Because you cannot, like in India, what we see that how the people are changing the ships. I'm being very, very honest with that. That's so very sad. Today you are representing a party, like, and tomorrow you come and like what we saw in West Bengal, it has become a biggest mockery, to be very honest, like seeing it from there. They are representing TMC and then they join BJP.
But in America, yes, also there's something, loyalty matters. That's what I'm asking you.
But then day after tomorrow, they go back to TMC again. So that is what it is not, means like, so just one second. So this is what, then comes competency. Of course, if you'll deliver, you will stay. Because ultimately, it is a work. It's a bold decision that the Prime Minister of India has taken up. And I wish him good luck. And to all the appointed ministers, they're not been, because they were elected, definitely. They have been all appointed now by the leader.
Prime Minister.
So this is the trust that he has built in them. I think they all come out to the trust, and let's make India very strong the way it is. Because if 2024 is, and your enemies within your own country are much more stronger, to be honest. Like, so you have to be careful.
Thank you, Vandana. Alok ji, very briefly, we're running out of time now.
Okay, like you said, the Congress party says that this whole government runs on 1.5. I don't think it is possible in a country like India. That is mockery. But we have in Prime Minister Modi a person who leads from the front. Now, this has not been the case. I mean, let's say in case somebody in the opposition was to, all these 19 or odd parties were to join and there was one person who was to be chosen, I don't think there is anybody who is capable of leading from the front. And what I know that he's running the government like a corporate. So every month you have to come up with a PowerPoint presentation and tell like what is happening.
Alok, brief question, brief answer. Running out of time. We have 6 minutes only. Please.
6 minutes is too long. I'll be shorter than that. Don't worry about
it. Competency and loyalty.
It is loyalty or it is competence. My core feeling is always competence. But then we have people like Subramaniam Swamy who could be, very competent, but he doesn't get a place in the cabinet ever. So I think the message which the Prime Minister wants to, the political message which he wants to give is very clear. And he's keeping in mind the elections which will be taking place in the future. We know that Badal and BSP, they have joined together. So this OBC element is very much there. And that's the reason lots of induction is there. And on the other side, BJP has always been called the the party of the Brahmins and the upper caste and the Dukandars and whatever. So that kind of an image is going to go away. And what is more important is what I said. I think young blood and well-educated people in politics and in ministries is going to deliver anyway. And if they are not delivering with the person we have at the top, they have to deliver. Otherwise, there's no place for them ever. So I think he's going to lead from the front. He'll make them work in case there is somebody. But I don't have any doubt about that because they're very well-educated people and they're young blood and they'll be delivering. So we have 3 years to go and I think they'll do a fantastic job.
Okay, Shivaji and then Ajay. Shivaji, just
Yes.
the direct small question and simple question. I think the straight answer. How do
I'm
you
giving you
prefer
very-
in the competency and loyalty? Or how do you prefer? The competent person should be the minister, and the loyal person should be the minister. And
No,
then both.
one thing I must say, especially in the kind of politics of almost everywhere now, loyalty is definitely given a special point. Because we have seen in many cases people who have exactly not been loyal, they can also upset the pie. So loyalty, you see, you have just seen what has happened in West Bengal, but it is happening in many other states also. You have seen how it has happened in Kerala also. So that's why loyalty to the party, not to any individual, is very necessary. But competence, yes, definitely competence. Competence, we need competent people, especially in these kind of critical areas, where people can take independent decision without any favor to anyone. And that is where competence really matters. And one thing, in this kind of competence, we have to see how the new education minister functions and how he gives a retouch to the new education policy. In my opinion, introducing the 4-year degree course is confusing and is a disaster, and it must be given up. That is where the competence matters. You see, Congress had given this 4-year degree course in 2012. And again, we are trying to reintroduce it after 9 years without realizing that it has
Sir,
a
we have
terrible
no
cost
time.
in
I
family.
request you, sir. We have no time. We're running out of time.
Yes. So competence and loyalty, there has to be a mix. You can't ignore loyalty in
Ajay
politics.
Ramola ji.
So it is a balance between competency and loyalty, if you see in this cabinet. And the best part which I like is the Northeast and Uttarakhand has been rewarded handsomely. And this is indicative of like a separate ministry of cooperation. I see a separate Himalayan ministry in near future. That is the whole idea behind, I think so, Modi ji, and Modi ji can deliver. But one just small point I want to say is, Modi ji has shown with this cabinet that if he is to take all the blame, then he better be the in charge of the whole affairs. So he has shown through this cabinet that he is in charge, and it will be basically deliverance which will matter now most, because we are going into elections in 5 states.
So nice of you. Election 5. Ajay Sharma, the last take from you, and then take Anita ji, and then
My sense and my take, because your question is very heavy loaded, Rakesh ji, it's not a very simple answer. But I'll give a very short answer that perhaps it is looking more.
Not as a SOCM, but as a BJP leader, you can speak.
Yeah.
But
No.
as a SOCM, but as a SOCM leader, you can speak. So forget the BJP.
Yeah. No, so therefore I will echo the same voice which my other fellow panelists have done, is that it is a balance of both loyalty and competency.
Yeah. Thank you, Anita ji.
In my
Anita ji,
views,
do you hear
both
me?
are the two
I think
parallel
some
lines
network problem is
should
there.
go
So,
together.
So nice of you, all of you who just participated in this.
One second, Rakesh ji.
My answer to मेरी answer to
yes,
सुन
yes.
लीजिए, please.
I think.
Please, just
I think
your network is lost. So this is not.
Yeah. I
You
think
can't blame me. Please, Kishore ji.
Competency has taken upper hand, but I add another thing: commitment. Because the commitment was given to Scindia, commitment was given to Sarva Dharma Sambhav that they will be accommodated. So commitment has also been
Narayan also. Yeah, you are right.
also.
So you added one thing.
My
that
answer,
is-
I just want to give my answer also.
Please,
My
please,
answer
madam.
is these are the two parallel lines we should go together, because if you are not loyal and you are very much competent, you are a worthless material for me. But
Correct.
you are a competent person without any
No, Kishore ji added
you are a
new
loyal
flavor,
person
commitment
without
also.
any competency.
Competency,
Then
loyalty,
again,
and commitment. Yeah.
you are a
Yeah.
ashamed material for me. So we should it should go together, and that you can see this togetherness. This parallel lines in this government.
Okay, from your me, that may be denoted by the Prime Minister, so we can understand that. Take the line between that. What is the loyalty and competency, and also commitment, also the key factor for the any leader and for the any ministry and for the governance for any management. So whatever we discussed, this is the art of governance and management. I think now we can say that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expert of that, to mixing up how to manage the things and how to govern with the all, and he knows every person how he is committed, how he is competent, and how they are loyal. So nice of all of you who just participated in this nice program of Global Governance News TV. So just like, subscribe, and just watch this TV every day, and just support the Nestless movement for the new India and for the global media movement for the new India. And so nice of you, and we'll discuss the governance management of Modi government. And next day we'll meet again. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.